Hello there, thanks for tuning back into our YouTube series brought to you by O3 School's JAMB app. So today our topic under Christian Religious Studies is Samson as a leader. And the story of Samson is recorded in the book of Judges, chapters 13 to 16. So you can find the story of Samson in the book of Judges in the Bible. So we'll look at the circumstances surrounding the birth of Samson. Samson was one of the judges of Israel. At that time, the Israelites sinned against God again, and God delivered them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. Around that time, there was a man from the tribe of Dan named Manoah. Manoah from the tribe of Dan. He and his wife were barren, and God appeared to his wife, or an angel of the Lord rather, appeared to his wife and told her that she would conceive and bear a son. He also gave her instructions regarding the child. She was to abstain from wine and anything unclean. And also, when the child was born, no razor should touch his head because he was going to be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth. So no razor will touch his head. He too will stay away from, wine and eating unclean things. So actually, the words of the angel came to pass, and Manoah and his wife gave birth to a child they named Samson. So that's the circumstances surrounding the birth of Samson. His father was Manoah. Manoah and his wife were barren, and an angel of the Lord appeared to his wife and told them about the birth of their child, and also gave them instructions regarding the child. Now let's look at how Samson defeated the Philistines. Remember, as at that time, the children of Israel had sinned against God, and God had handed them over to the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. Now, Samson loved a woman named Delilah. The lords of the Philistines came to Delilah and bribed her. They promised to give her 1,100 pieces of silver each if she could entice Samson and get him to tell her the source of his extraordinary strength. Delilah tried, and Samson lied to her 3 times. On the 4th time, after she had pestered him, Samson finally told her the truth, and he explained to her that if his hair was cut off, that was the source of the strength, and his strength would leave him. He would become like an ordinary man. And Delilah had Samson's hair shaved and called the Philistines. Samson thought he would be able to defeat them like before, but he didn't know that his hair has been shaved and the Lord had departed from him. So that was how the Philistines captured Samson, and they blinded him. It's recorded that they gouged out his eyes, so he was blinded and thrown in prison. While in prison, his hair started growing again. Then the Philistines they gathered together to offer sacrifices to their God, thanking him for delivering Samson, their greatest enemy, into their hands. And while they were celebrating, when they became drunk, they ordered for Samson to be brought out to perform. When Samson was brought out, he stood between the 2 pillars holding the building, and he prayed to God one last time that God should strengthen him so he will be able to take vengeance against the Philistines for all that they had done to him. And God answered Samson's prayer. Samson pushed the pillars with all his might, and he brought down the building, killing himself and over 3,000 Philistines that day. Over 3,000 Philistines died with Samson when the building collapsed. So his brothers came and took his body, buried him in the tomb of his father. Then it was recorded that Samson judged Israel for 20 years. Thus, in his death, he released or he saved the Israelites from the Philistines. Now, let's look at the leadership qualities of Samson. One, which we all know, whenever we hear the name Samson, that comes to mind. One, which we all know, whenever we hear the name Samson, that comes to mind is strength. Samson was blessed with extraordinary strength. God blessed him with it because of his hair. Then next, we have courage. Samson knew God was with him, so he was never afraid to fight any number of people. Also, because of the extraordinary strength that God had given him. Then we also have faith. Samson displayed his faith in God when he looked to God one last time after the Philistines had captured him, shaved his hair, gouged out his eyes. He still looked up to God, believing fully that God would be able to rescue him from the situation he found himself. So Samson had faith in God. These are some of the leadership qualities that Samson possessed. That's the story of Samson as a leader. Samson was a judge in Israel. He was the son of Manoah from the tribe of Dan, and he delivered the Israelites from the hands of the Philistines, even though he died with them. So now, we look at the O3 Schools JAMB app. If by now you've not downloaded your app, you're wasting time. You're wasting precious time. So we'll look at the O3 Schools JAMB app and we'll look for past questions on Samson that have been asked before. Now here's one, a 2010 question. What was Samson's major achievement as Israel's leader? A, he suppressed the Philistines. B, he captured the city of Jericho. C, he saved the Israelites from the Amorites. And D, he secured permanent independence for Israel. Our answer is A, he suppressed the Philistines. That was his major achievement as Israel's leader. Here's another, a 2008 question. I will go out as at other times and shake myself free. When Samson made the statement above, he was not aware that A, the Philistines were upon him. B, he was bound with bronze fetter. C, the Lord had left him. And D, his eyes had been gouged out. The answer is C, the Lord had left him. When he made that statement above, he thought it was business as usual because he had lied to Delilah 3 times. And each time she called the Philistines, he would, break whatever it was that was binding him and defeat the Philistines. But this time, his head had been shaved and the Lord had left him. But he was not aware. So he made the statement, I will go out as at other times and shake myself free. Another question from 2016. At Delilah's third interrogation of Samson to discover the source of his strength, he replied, his strength can only leave him if A, they bound him with new ropes, B, they weaved the 7 locks of his head, C, his hair was shaved, D, he was bound with 7 undried fresh bowstrings. So our answer here is B, they weaved the 7 locks of his head. He lied to Delilah 3 times. The first time, he told her that if he was bound with 7 undried fresh bowstrings. The second time, he told her that if they bound him with new ropes. And the third time, he said if they weaved the 7 locks of his head. So all those 3 times were lies. The third time is option B. They weaved the 7 locks of his head. These are some questions from the O3 Schools JAMB app under this topic that we've just treated. You can download the O3 Schools JAMB app, and after you've studied, you can search out past questions based on the topics that you just studied. So do well to download the app now.